Hi, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving or happy day after Thanksgiving. Welcome to TFT Tarot for today, Divine Dabblings with Oberon and Banshee. And this is me with my outlook on the emotional exchanges. So happy Thanksgiving. I am once again changing the format a little bit. So this is a new reading, so I hope you enjoy it. I'm expanding it a little bit by giving one extra card. I'm sort of altering some other things, but let's go. As you know, it is my reading for the signs of the Zodiac, and there's three cards. The first card will tell the energy or vibration that's around you. Okay, that's the same. The second card will tell you what is the emotional challenge of the week. And these are both drawn from the main deck, the Final Rose Tarot. But I'm throwing a third card in from the Neon Tarot, which is really pretty. And the idea behind the third card drawn from that deck is I have isolated all of the court cards of the Neon Tarot into just one pile, and I will draw from that as the idea of who is looking at you, who is coming your way, who is interested in you. It doesn't necessarily have to be for the purposes of love or romance. It could be for other things that maybe have an emotional energy about them. All right, so let's get started then. And as I said, we do this for the entire zodiac. So we're going to start off with Aries, sun, moon, or rising. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving, if you celebrate it. Banshee and I did. All right, so as I said, the first card for Aries is the energy or vibration that's around you this week. And it's the Two of Wands, or the Two of Roses here. It says date card. And literally, the Two of Wands can be an invitation. It can be maybe about, seeing something that you want to invite into your world, or you want to invite yourself into that world. So the energy is talking about making plans, maybe for a date. Now the next card then is the emotional challenge. And it's another two. No, I'm sorry, it's a nine. It's the Nine of Flutes, which is the Nine of Cups. And it says fantasy suites. So the Nine of Cups is held to be the wish card. So the emotional challenge for the week is maybe really taking a serious look at yourself and deciding that you do need some sort of wish to happen, or that you are actually content enough, because that is another possibility with the Nine of Cups, that it could just be saying you have exactly what you need to enjoy. You don't envy anybody else. So which is it? Maybe that's the challenge for the week, is trying to decide if enough is enough, or if you're wishing for something else. All right, so as I mentioned before, we're using the Neon Tarot to look at the idea of who may be looking at you, who may be coming your way, who may be interested. And it's the King of Cups. And I'm going to read all of these as upright. So the King of Cups could be somebody older than you, could be somebody who's a water sign, or they have a significant water sign placement in their chart. And if they're coming to you, they may just be coming to you in kindness. They may have good support to share with you. I mean, they could be like a father figure. So this is not necessarily romance indicated, but they seem to just have something to do with you this week ahead. And maybe you're looking for, somebody to give you some advice. All right. So we will now move on to Taurus, sun, moon, or rising. Taurus, first card, what is the energy or vibration around you for this week? It's the reverse Nine of Wands. And it says meeting the parents, but it's reversed. So the Nine of Wands, this may be saying that the energy around you makes you feel like you're not really prepared for something. And of course, it could be a lot of things. I mean, emotionally speaking, it could be saying, moving into the holiday season, maybe you don't feel you're ready for things like meeting a significant other's, interesting parent or person that you haven't met yet, or, just having to deal with family occasions. But this could be more serious too. This could be talking about something that really does involve maybe a confrontation of standing up for yourself or for somebody, for a thing, and maybe you're not feeling like you're really prepared for that. So that's the energy this week then. And what is the challenge then, actually, as if that wasn't enough of a challenge? And it's the reversed Queen of Cups. And you could be dealing with somebody who really doesn't have the emotional temperament to really uh, be good towards you in any way, that maybe they actually have already prejudged you or a situation. I don't think it's necessarily a woman, but it could be. It could have something to do with the first situation. It just sort of feels like your challenge really is kind of steeling yourself, or some heightened emotional, energy is being tossed around. And of course, once again, that sounds like, what goes on during the holidays. So is somebody looking at you? Is somebody coming your way, Taurus? What is that person possibly? And it's the Page of Pentacles. So the Page of Pentacles could be a child, or a young person, male or female. They may be coming towards you because maybe you're going to be, doing something with them for the holidays. It looks to me like maybe they have something to share with you, something to teach you. So unless, like an unknown child or sibling is coming out of the woodwork and surprising you during the holiday season, it feels like maybe a child or a young person has information or something to share with you that maybe gives you something to think about. All right. So I'm going to leave it like that for Taurus, and we'll move on to Gemini now. Sun, moon, or rising. Gemini. And I'm likely to keep this new method of reading up for a few weeks so that I can kind of settle into it. The first time maybe it feels, a little stiff, and then I just kind of loosen up with it and I get the idea of what, you know, is really going on there. All right, Gemini. So what is the energy around Gemini this week from the emotional point of view? And it's the Empress, upright. And the Empress is also known as the Bachelorette in the Final Rose Tarot. So the energy around you is manifestation, and maybe more specifically, something that does flow along the lines of romance or love or sexuality even. This could be saying that, you are feeling, you could really be attracted to somebody, or that you're feeling your own sense of power of your attraction towards others and vice versa. It's a good time to get close with people, and everybody likes a Christmas time wedding. All right, so what is the emotional challenge for the week? And it's the Fool reversed. It's called the Contestant here in the Final Rose. So the Fool reversed could be saying that the challenge is really not doing this card too quickly without thinking about it a little bit. This card sort of looks like somebody wants, to feel the vibration of love big and large. This is saying be careful a little bit, that know exactly what you're getting into or getting out of. All right, so what is the person of interest that could be coming your way, Gemini? And it's the Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands is probably a younger person, more about your own age, perhaps. They could be a fire sign, so they could be Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or they have that in their charts somewhere. They're somebody that really maybe is trying to be noticed by you, that they really do want to get to know you. And so that could be for a variety of reasons. Maybe they have business to do with you, or maybe it's about becoming a new friend and get to know you a little bit better. And that's what I have for Gemini. And we'll move on to Cancer then. Sun, Moon, or Rising. Cancer. What is the vibration around you? It's the Lovers reversed. You may feel that you're going to be making a bad choice, or that the choice that's offered to you just doesn't seem to be a good one in some ways. Maybe you feel like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You could also just be feeling like maybe there's a lack of choices in your life, or that there's a lack of um, a good flow of emotional love or like at this time. So what is your challenge this week then? And it's the Eight of Pentacles, the Eight of Rings, the camera guy. Your challenge may be that you need to polish up on something a little bit, that there may be a sense of direction you're kind of lacking. You don't really have your craft together. And of course, we're speaking about the craft of moving into an emotional experience, perhaps. So whatever this is, even if you were already, married and all that stuff, there may be something else going on that emotionally could be a challenge for you, a choice for you, and you just need to really address what that is and figure out what are the skills, or what are the directions you need to be aware of, how to move. So who is coming towards Cancer then? And it's the Queen of Pentacles. So it could be a woman. Any of these cards are gender fluid. I mean, it could be a person. It seems more like their female is in perspective. But they could be an earth sign. They could be Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. There's somebody that in their own way is really good with trying to make things happen. So they might be a business person of some sort. They might like to move the currents of energy, but they could also be somebody who maybe is involved in growthful things too. And of course, it could be literal growthful. Maybe they're writing a book about gardening, or they know about, a certain level of agriculture, or it could be something related or peripheral, anything that possibly has a sense of growth to it. All right, so that's Cancer. We will move on to Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Leo, what is the energy around you this week? And it's the Page of Swords reversed. And it says the gossip. I don't necessarily always feel that way, but maybe the Page of Swords does represent a situation that could be about gossip or a lack of tact, especially when it's reversed, maybe more so than when it's upright. So I'll give it that. This could be saying really that there's something going on where maybe somebody's being talked about. Maybe you know who that is if it isn't you. And it may be a sense of somebody feeling clumsy about what they're supposed to do in that situation. What is the challenge if that isn't enough of one? And it's the Two of Cups reversed. So the challenge may be that this endangers a relationship in some way. It endangers the sense of trust or harmony that could be going on in a relationship. So it may be important to figure out, if you yourself was the person that said something you shouldn't, or if there's somebody else that you need to figure out and hold accountable. Is somebody coming towards you in love, romance, or something else? And it's the King of Cups. And we had you before, didn't we? And the King of Cups could be an older person. It could be a water sign like Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces. But they're sort of a kind-hearted person who maybe is trying to give advice or trying to be helpful. They're trying to be supportive even. And so it could be that it's attached to that situation. If maybe a relationship is floundering, there may be somebody kind who has some advice for you. And so you should not necessarily discount that then. All right, we are going to move on to Virgo. Sun, Moon, or Rising Virgo. So Virgo, what is the energy around you this week? What's going on? And it's the King of Cups in a different form. They call it the King of Flutes. It says the single dad. So you may be feeling like, is that all there is? Is it just for me to be kind to other people and I don't necessarily have my own life because I have other responsibilities? But hey, that's not so bad. It might be, what you need to do at this time, Virgo. Just take care of those you love, really. What is the challenge for you this week? It's the moon. It's upright. So the challenge may be there are mysteries going on that you need to figure out, that maybe life isn't so boring being a single dad. Maybe there's something else going on that you need to find out about. All right. Who is coming towards you, Virgo? And once again, I don't know, there's the King of Cups again, and it's the King of Cups either way. So are you coming towards yourself? Are you just taking the time to maybe listen to your own wisdom or kindness? Or is it possible that there is somebody else, another person who is waiting in the wings? This could be the idea of romance, despite genders and etc. It could just be the idea that maybe um, that's what the mystery is, I think, is that there's somebody who maybe is a little bit older and a little bit more of a time worn soul who could be coming towards you. Now, isn't that nice? I'm using my intuition for that. All right, we're on Libra. We're in the second half of the zodiac. Libra, what's the energy around you? What kind of vibration are you feeling around you right now? And you may be feeling the Page of Wands. It's called the Page of Roses here. And it says the free spirit. So the Page of Wands is kind of like a breath of fresh air. It could be a message coming to you saying, hey, it's time to go to a party or it's time to do something. It feels like it could be an invitation to something fresh and exciting. Libra, what's your emotional challenge this week? And I always forget this. We have a cut. So what is your emotional challenge this week? And it's the star reversed. Feelings that, maybe things aren't going to work out for the best for you, despite, this feeling of freshness. Maybe you have a sense of being depressed here, Libra. So you want to watch that. Is somebody coming towards you? Who would that be? It's the Knight of Pentacles. So it's an earth sign. Or it could be an earth sign. It feels like somebody who just sort of is dependable and knows that they should take their time because you might be working through some things right now that, feel a little bit wonky to you. And so they're supportive. They could be a Taurus, they could be a Capricorn or Virgo, but they're patient. And so if they are coming towards you, they may realize that, you're dealing with a lot and they're willing to figure out where they belong in your life. All right, we'll move on to Scorpio now. Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, Scorpio, what is around you right now? What is the energy? It's the Page of Pentacles. It says the optimist. As the Page of Pentacles, you are feeling a breath of fresh air again. I hate saying that again. It's not the same card, but the sense of maybe something new is about to happen or that you are yourself involved in trying to explore, what's going on. So what is your challenge this week? And it is the Four of Swords. It's upright. You might just need to take some time with this. It may be better for you to rest a little bit. There could be a lot of activity that you need to kind of portion out so that you don't overdo it. Who is coming towards you? And once again, we see a young person, a child, or a young adult. Page of Pentacles could be an earth sign. Somebody that maybe, and it's the same as over here too. That's a Page of Pentacles too. But as a young person, they may be coming to you because they feel they can share something with you that is information related or wisdom related, and maybe they want something back from you along the same lines. All right, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Sagittarius, what is the vibration or energy around you at this time, this week? And it's the Ace of Swords. It says fresh meat. It's upright. So the energy maybe is about acquisition of some sense. Maybe you're thinking of a new target, a new plan, something new you want to do. Maybe you feel you're able to accomplish something now that you haven't before. And of course, some of this could be interpreted in terms of the emotional things going on in your life. So you may be feeling like, if this applies to you, that maybe you just need something new in your romantic or love or emotional life. What is your challenge? Sagittarius, you have the Knight of Flutes, that's the Knight of Cups. So maybe your challenge is that you do want to move towards something that brings you pleasure. You do want to move towards something you feel you have strong feelings for. Even if you're already in a relationship, this could mean something else. It could just mean you want to broaden your horizon in terms of what you like emotionally. So it could be about, thinking it's time to move, or it's time to buy a new car or something like that. So Sagittarius, who is coming towards you, whether it's in love or anything else? And it's that darn King of Cups again. So Sagittarius, there may be an older person who feels kind towards you and benevolent in some way. They could be a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and they just want to be nice to you and maybe supportive. They could be somebody like a father figure to you in some respects. So they're not necessarily related, and I don't think they're coming to you for love. I think they're coming to you with love. That's important to say. All right, Sagittarius, we'll move on to Capricorn then. Sun, Moon, or Rising, Capricorn. And Capricorn, what is your energy or vibration this week? What kind of things could be going on for you or influencing your life or your actions at this time? So the energy, the vibration, is the reverse Ten of Swords, and you may be feeling like you have parted ways with some negativity in your life, whether it's represented by people or situations. You're kind of moving away from that. You may have felt like you were foolish in some respect to not realize, um, there was damage being done. Maybe you felt like you were just sort of in a bad mood of some sort. But your challenge now is the Page of Pentacles, the Page of Rings. And that's the sense of optimism that you really do feel, you want to feel optimistic, like you are moving towards a new engagement or a new interest in something. And so maybe the challenge is figuring out where you do in fact want to go. Maybe it's not so clear after getting rid of all the negativity there. So who is coming towards you, Capricorn? And this time it's the King of Pentacles. So it's somebody who could be a little bit older. Um, they might be fatherly, grandfatherly. Um, they feel like an earth sign in some respects, and they feel like they could help you kind of pull yourself back together. So this may be a person who has more than advice. I mean, maybe they're really going to engage with you to kind of get you on track. They might be a person who could be a trainer of some sort, or maybe there's somebody who is going to teach you skills you need. Just a thought. And we will now move on to Aquarius. Sun, Moon, or Rising. Aquarius. What kind of energy or vibrations are around you at this time? What is the vibration or energy for Aquarius? And it's Knight of Cups. So the vibration makes you feel, once again, like you are trying to move towards a situation that brings you a lot of emotional contentment. Maybe you are moving towards something, if you're single, you're moving towards maybe a steady relationship. If you're not single, you're already involved. Maybe you're taking romance or your union to another level, things like that. So what is the emotional challenge? It's the reverse Two of Wands. The emotional challenge could be that some things need a shake up right now, and you need to do this. So you need to not necessarily not do this. You need to find reasons to engage, to move forward. But there is a part of you that maybe feels like, no, you don't want to necessarily challenge yourself. So challenge that notion, Aquarius. And who is coming towards you then? And once again, I don't know, is this the same person for everybody in the Zodiac? Does everybody have a King of Pentacles in their life? Somebody who is fatherly, means well, and is willing to kind of roll up the sleeves and help you do some of the physical work or the physical things as they may be. They could be an earth sign, so they could be Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Watch for them. Put them to work. All right, at last we are at Pisces. Sun, Moon, Rising. Pisces, hello. What's your vibe or energy this week? What's going on around you kind of stuff? And it's the Four of Pentacles. So right now you're kind of holding on a little bit. Emotionally speaking, you may be feeling like you're very challenged in a way, and you're holding on to something emotionally that's really important to you that you feel belongs to you. So this could be about a relationship you're in. It could be about other situations. I mean, it could be about children or something like that. What is your challenge then? And your challenge is another four. It's the Four of Swords. And it says the reassuring rose. Well, the Four of Swords could be saying that it's time for you to maybe take a little break here and ponder, some of the stuff that's going on. Trying to decide, what it is you best serve your own course and for your own, peace of mind and mental health and stuff. You might want to just relax, some of this activity. Now, Who is coming towards you? And it's a Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands could be a young man, is somebody who feels drawn to you in a way. It may be more about friendship. They feel like they are charming to you, or you are charming to them. They could be a fire sign. Their energy is mostly good. They might want to help you work on projects. They might want to be a good new best friend, things like that. All right, so we are through the emotional exchanges, and hopefully this holds us all for next week. You'll have to let me know if you like the idea of the third card, but I'm probably going to do it for a couple weeks. So that's it. I'm going to roll the tape for our other shows, and I'll see you all in about a week. Bye-bye.